This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Whitmer here, and welcome in to another episode of Heel Talk. I am joined with my tag team partner, Soapy Muffin. Soapy, how we doing today? Hot tag? Hot tag.
I don't even think I tagged to the right side, but
No, we were the right side. We were just off. You went, and then I'm like, oh no, he went.
yeah. Sorry, miscommunication. It happens in wrestling, but I'm doing good. It's been a day at work. They're starting to ask me to do more stuff, so that's kind of cringe. But
so,
outside of
like
that,
me and doing things I like to avoid it.
Oh, I do things. It's the problem of when they start asking me to do more things, and I'm like,
Hey, this person's not doing their work. Can you do their work on top of your work?
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm gonna have to, but no.
No, I like to do what you pay me to do, and that's all I'm gonna do.
It's rough.
There's a lot of people older than me right now that are getting mad at that statement because of work philosophies. But welcome into Heel Talk, where we're talking about wrestling bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks, Soapy and I are talking about wrestling. Today we have a very, very I am very interested for this show because I have an idea of where Soapy may lie on this, but I don't know for sure. So we're talking about CM Punk today. We also have a question that we're pulling from somebody in the Discord that Retro in our Discord had a question. Soapy and I thought, cool, we can talk about that at the end because it's a cool conversation. Before we get into everything, if you want to support us, Patreon is down below. The Discord, if you want to be in it, the question that we talk about later is in the Discord. You can join that conversation. That link is below as well. Hit that subscribe button if you love today's podcast. Hit that like button. If you're finding us on YouTube and you're like, man, I wish you guys were on audio. We are Apple and Spotify. You can find us there as well. And leave a comment. Let us know what you guys think, especially to that question later on. But Soapy, the big thing we're talking about, it's the title of the video, title of the podcast. Should CM Punk or should WWE bring CM Punk back? And I'm going to hold off on that exact question because this is kind of separated into three sections. I think we got to go step by step for this one. And the should is step 2. The first question, and I'm going to get right into it. Usually I ask you, I'm going to give my opinion. Not should, but will we see CM Punk back in WWE? Soapy, I am on the train. It is 75% at the minimum that we see CM Punk back in WWE. I think that we wouldn't get the references to him. I think WWE wouldn't be throwing out the references they have on television. USA on Instagram, WWE wouldn't be okay with them throwing a comment on an LA Knight Instagram post with Roman in his glasses, look into my eyes, what do you see? We're getting all of this. I know that we had news of they're going to talk. And then Jake was like, but this insider that's really closely related to Punk said that it's not going to happen. Do we not know what a work is? This is wrestling. The WWE has the greatest thing to do right now is to get us, if we're expected, he's going to be there, Chicago's going to pop. But it's not going to be as huge because we're going to expect it. If they can sow the seed of doubt where it's we kind of expect it, but we're not expecting it. When he shows up, that pop is going to be massive. I think he's showing up. I want to know what you think, though. Will CM Punk be in WWE again? Will we see him at Survivor Series?
I think there's a chance. My main thing is just... And some of the references that they've made, I do love that the internet has just memed it to oblivion.
Every single time we're trying to find one.
Yeah, well, because I saw one, and mind you, and people do this stuff for all sorts of media. So when I saw it in a wrestling format, I was like, okay, I'm this is weird. It was like I'm trying to remember what it was. It was CM Punk posted something on like his Instagram story or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a picture of Snoopy, and I forget, like it was like a picture of Fat Snoopy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
People like started breaking everything down on it. They're like, it says 8 in there, so that's the letter 8. And then like they started doing math, and I'm like,
the letter 8,
what?
not the number 8.
Yeah, like they started doing all of this stuff, and I'm just like, what is going on here? Basically, they did this long-term math problem to be able to get to November 25th. I'm just like, the thing is like,
are we that bored with Roman as champion that we're looking for? We gotta psychoanalyze. Is CM Punk gonna show up?
Yes.
There's my obligatory bloodline hate, by the way.
Yeah, we had to at least get one a show. No, like I think I would say I'm at like a 65% chance we see him again. Because I think it is definitely something that is in the cards. Now, I know a lot of insiders have had it to where like they have talked about like, oh, like people from Roman's camp and people from WWE have been like, this isn't happening.
Mm-hmm.
And like, mind you, and I look at it this way: insiders can be wrong because sometimes they're told false information, and that's it happens.
Well, and the thing that I will say about the insider part, usually like some of the ones like Dave Meltzer and stuff are spot on. But there's like, when I think of something like this, if I was WWE, this is where I would be playing it. Right up against my chest. I would not let if I'm Triple H, there is maybe 2 people, 3 people at most that know what's going on. Myself, Nick Khan, CM Punk. That's probably the first 3. There might be a little bit more because the TOK group and stuff, board meetings, but
yeah, the TKO group probably, is like,
but like, my point is, I would be playing this so close to the chest because, like I said, WWE have kind of, I will say this, WWE, because of the references that they have thrown out there, and the ones that I'm talking about are the ones like the very first one, the Michael Cole promo on Seth Rollins, very much seeds of CM Punk in there. Then you had it was, I think, the Fastlane pay-per-view where Corey Graves said, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making us believe he didn't exist. Something straight out of the MJF CM Punk feud. And then you had Shinsuke Nakamura hitting a go to sleep, which he never does. And then the USA Instagram post comment that I mentioned. They're in a tricky situation that I feel like if they don't bring him back, they've backed themselves into a corner by putting they have wrestling fans are still going to watch, but they are going to turn some of these fans sour because it's like, I feel like if he doesn't show up at Survivor Series, some fans are going to feel like, oh, well, WWE played me. WWE made me to look like the fool. And that would not be a good thing for WWE to do right now, because right now everyone's saying they're on a meteoric rise and they're the hottest that they've ever been.
Yeah, and it's especially just like a lot of times with the references. Some of them I'm fine with. I think the only reason I have a problem with the greatest trick the devil ever pulled one is because I'm like, CM Punk's not the one who came up with that quote, but everyone treats it like he did. Well, and even that, no, it outdates MJF too.
Well, it was a Motley Crue. Wasn't it a Motley Crue lyric?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like something along those lines.
Yeah.
Or like, that's the only reason why that one bothers me specifically, because people like, guys, look.
But my thing with that one is, why would he say that? Why would he say that there? Like, you know what I'm saying? It seemed like really like, hey, let me pencil this line in here to try to like, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Like, I think it's just, like I said, that's the only reason that one bothers me.
Yeah.
Is because I'm like, guys, trust me, like, CM Punk is a great promo. He is not dropping a line like that just out of nowhere. That was stolen. Let's be real here. Like, 90% of the best sayings in wrestling have been stolen from somewhere. Let's be completely honest.
Yeah.
Right? But, no, I think there are a lot of things pointing towards it. But at the same time, this also reminds me a lot of, I forget exactly what year it was. I think it was like 2014 WWE. Of where, like, this is, like, I think right around the time that CM Punk left. because of the whole stuff that he had, like with the MRSA infection, the problems he had backstage with people, and all that stuff. And then people were like, well, they keep dropping references to him. He's got to come back, right? He's going to come back. Like, we kept hearing that stuff. And just like, it's just reminding me so much of that again. And I'm just like, oh, we went backwards, didn't we? We didn't grow as fans. We hid this part of us until a situation came up like it.
Well, and
like,
go ahead.
Like, I think, like I said, I think there's a very strong chance he comes back. And I mean, and we'll probably get into it later, because I think if you said the should, I think was like the next part or whatever. Yeah. But, like, I think it's just, I have a feeling it's one of those things of where, and mind you, I've made my opinion on what on CM Punk pretty well known, at least in the Discord, not on here, but in the Discord. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I feel like it's going to lead to a situation that, you know, if he does show up, you're going to have the fans who didn't see him in AEW and see that he wasn't up to what he used to be. Because, like, mind you, this is the thing. That is a high expectation to match. Like, as much as I have never been a massive CM Punk fan, that's a high bar that you have to match to be able to match, like, peak CM Punk that people remember. Like, and to me, I don't know if he will live up to, like, the expectation that people have put towards him. But hey, I mean, I do think there's a good chance he comes back.
I'm glad you brought up AEW, because that was in the Y section. This was the last thing I was going to bring up, and it wasn't like him living up to, because obviously CM Punk 2010 Money in the Bank, CM Punk Pipe Bomb, that's prime CM Punk. I don't think we're ever going to get to that CM Punk again. The AEW CM Punk was not as good as WWE, old WWE CM Punk, with I'm talking about Cult of Personality, like from that Money in the Bank Summer of Punk on. But the thing with AEW I was going to bring up is, I can't remember if I saw this in a Wrestle Talk video like a month ago, or if I saw it on Twitter. But WWE, the point that was brought up was that by bringing Punk in, WWE has an opportunity to kind of give AEW a little bit of a gut punch. I say gut punch because I don't think it's going to be like a TKO, like you're out for the count and we're better. I think that WWE is 1, AEW is still 2, and that's not a bad thing. But the thing that was brought up is there were 2 points. The first one was AEW, Chicago's kind of been like, oh, how did they phrase it? Not their home base. I think the phrase they used was it's almost like their spiritual home, where Chicago's been the place of All Out. It's been a place where they do big shows. Jacksonville might be the home base, but Chicago is their home away from home. And WWE has a chance to steal all the thunder in AEW's top city away from their home base of Jacksonville. And also, it's the Survivor Series weekend. You have Survivor Series on Saturday, SmackDown on Friday. Soapy, I know it's not going to be at the Allstate, but where is AEW on the 22nd, that Wednesday? Do you know?
What random arena in Chicago are they in?
They're in the Wintrust Arena. Their home for Dynamite when in Chicago. So not only can you give them a little gut punch, you're going to be direct competition in Chicago that week. AEW's got a show on Wednesday. It'll be their first Dynamite after Full Gear. So Full Gear next Saturday. You're then going to get on the Wednesday the first Dynamite outside of Full Gear. That's why to me, I'm like, I look at it and it's like, Randy is heavily rumored to come back. CM Punk would just be a cherry on top of like, we got to go ahead and we got to hit the ratings where it hurts. And this is almost like the only time WWE is going to be in a direct battle with AEW that week, going kind of head to head. I know like Wednesday, it's not Wednesday, but if SmackDown and Survivor Series do better than AEW, people are going to talk about it.
Well, yeah, it's also just because some people are weirdly obsessed with ratings. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have talked about in the Discord.
You just hate how people use them sometimes and then move the goalpost other times.
People are very selective on when ratings matter. Because, like, this is the thing, and this is where I get again on my no pun intended soapbox. Why do we care about ratings?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this thing, I get it. I understand. AEW doesn't shut up about WWE. I have actively talked about that I wish AEW would shut up with that.
Mm-hmm.
Stop focusing on them. Just focus on your own product. Focus on making it better.
Mm-hmm.
You know how tired I am of every single time when anyone who criticizes AEW that doesn't watch the product actively just is like, oh, look at the ratings at 18 through 49. You guys, I had to stop myself from swearing. I'm trying my best not to do it this episode.
I let one slip. Girlfriend's not going to be happy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like, the people who bring up demographics, I point this out. These people don't understand demographics.
Yeah.
They don't understand. This is the thing. You guys ready for it? I know I'm looking at the microphone and not the camera. However, yeah.
Oh, you hit the mute button.
Oh, I did not. I messed with the audio.
Okay. I'm like, I don't hear a word you're saying right now.
No, I screwed it all up there. But no, it's my thing is people need to understand outside of WWE, ratings for wrestling are not good.
Well, I'll throw this out. Is it ratings is it ratings you should matter about, or because of the world we live in, not ratings, but like, should we look at social media? How many clicks do you get? How many impressions? How many people are talking about you on Twitter or Instagram or YouTube? Like, should we be looking more at that than like, oh, here's your TV ratings. Here's the 18 to 29 or 18 to 35 demographic. I think it's like 18 to 23 and then 24 to 35, I think.
Yeah, no, it's like 18. Demographics are so weird because it's like 18 through 49, I think, is like the main block. Yeah. But then there's like little sub blocks in there. Like, to me, I look at it this way, and genuinely, I need people to understand this when it comes to ratings in wrestling. And we'll get back to Punk in a little bit. I just had to get on a soapbox about this.
This adds into it.
Yeah. The thing that people need to understand, and I do love, I'm moving my hands, and it's below the camera. But people need to understand, WWE has been grandfathered in with, like, TV. Realistically, if WWE started today, it'd have the same ratings as AEW. And that's not me bashing WWE. That's not me saying, like, one's better than the other. The fact that WWE has 50 years of history, it has so much history of it just being grandfathered in as a thing. Literally, notice any other wrestling program on TV never does good. Because wrestling is not as popular as it used to be.
Oh, in the WWE 90s, it was like...
Everyone watched it.
Well, it was weird because... there weren't, yet again, I was like 96, 90, I was like 5, 6, and 7 when I got into wrestling in the late 90s. And it was weird because it didn't feel like WWE and wrestling wasn't mainstream. Like, I feel like it's a lot more mainstream now than it was back then. But man, turn on one of those old pay-per-views from the Attitude Era. It's just a different feel. Like, when they show the arena and the fans pop, it's just a different feel. It's a different feel that we're never going to get again.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, like, to me, people bring up ratings and they bring up things like that. My entire problem is I need people to understand you cannot compare any wrestling company to WWE. That's not me saying WWE is by far way better of a product. Like, mind you, I do think they're being better right now. My thing is, you cannot compare anyone's ratings, anyone's attendance, anyone's basically anything to them. Because they are such a household name of wrestling. And, like, it's not a slight if people say, I don't know about AEW. That's not a slight.
It's like comparing, let's say, the new team, like, the NBA gets a new team in Vegas. It's like comparing that team to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, or, like, I can even use another example of, like, or if you're like, oh, there's more Pistons fans than Timberwolves fans. Yeah, of course there's going to be more Pistons fans. We're around since, like, the 60s.
Yeah.
We've been around forever. And also, who lives in Minnesota? Minnesota! But no, like, That's my whole thing. That's why it bothers me so much when ratings come up. Because it's like the fact of literally comparing them to anyone. Like, that's why to me, even if the Wembley number was a lie, the fact that another wrestling company drew that crowd and had that many tickets was incredible.
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing. And now kind of leading it back in with Punk, it's because this also leads a little bit in, this actually does connect to Punk.
The one thing I do want to say before you bring up the Punk, and this is just a very short thing about AEW. AEW and WWE are different. I watch AEW, I get more of a WCW vibe than WWE vibe. It's like a different like style.
Yeah. And that's one of the main reasons why, like, a lot of times when I see people criticize the product, I just I look at it as I'm like, well, are you looking at it in the sense of like it's WWE wrestling, or is it just wrestling in general? WWE wrestling is vastly different than the rest of wrestling. Like, I really need people to understand that. It's like, for instance, notice when NXT was arguably at its peak, NXT was not like the rest of WWE.
No.
Because you want to know why it wasn't?
Triple H.
Well, a little bit also the fact of it was basically Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I wish WWE, and I feel like we're getting into it a little bit now that Triple H is allowed to be Triple H and he doesn't have Vince McMahon just breathing down his back. Sorry for those people who got to hear me breathe into the microphone. But I wish we could get to that now. More of like WWE has a little bit more focus on the wrestling than not.
Well, I mean, and the whole thing is the WWE has been so built on the storytelling side of wrestling. That's why, like, for instance, to me, I have always favored in-ring work. That's why, like, when I was a kid, I loved TNA. Mostly because, I'm going to be completely honest here, TNA's storylines were doo-doo. Absolutely terrible. They had a whole storyline that Jeff Jarrett stole Kurt Angle's wife. There's a 20-something year difference between these two in age.
I'll be completely honest. You just made me think. I think back to my childhood and most of the memories I have from like the Attitude Era. Not many of them are like, oh man, I remember that. Like, there were some matches like, okay, the Dudley, like when it was Dudley's, Edge and Christian, Hardy Boys, TLC. You got Jeff and I think it was Devon hanging off of the belts. Like, cool spots. But most of my favorite moments were promos, were storyline things from like a Raw in like 97.
Yeah, like that's why to me, and it's one of those this is one of those really big things. Like when I talk about like, you know, certain things in wrestling, because like I can use MJF and CM Punk for example. That's why they felt so special in AEW is because they fit more of the mold of what we expect, you know, as North American wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Let's be completely honest here. We are conditioned that WWE is the wrestling company. Everyone else in the world, you know, they're watching New Japan, Lucha Underground, AAA, MLW, like, and all these other companies. They're watching those guys. Most people in North America, mind you, half those companies I listed are in North America.
Yeah, but like America,
like, none of them are on TV.
Like the U.S. is just watching AEW and WWE right now.
Yeah,
maybe
and it's
some
because
Impact. I'm sorry, TNA.
Yeah, Impact TNA is hanging around.
Because TNA, it's a brand new thing. Wrestling. It's a brand new thing. It's completely different.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, you know, going back to the old ways. We're going to bring back, you know, like...
The Octagon.
Let's bring back the Octagon that everyone hated, but looked so cool. But no, like, that's why, to me, like, the reason I can connect this back to Punk is, like, when people bring up, like, post-Punk leaving AEW, and they're like, well, look at Collision's ratings. You guys wanna know a little funny thing about those ratings?
Yeah.
With CM Punk on the show, the ratings were still going down.
Yeah, they were. I actually watched I watched the Wrestle Talk video from today where they talked about that. To where it's like they were going down and now they are down.
Yeah. It's like, it's almost like we need to actually keep track of ratings and keep arguments where arguments are there.
Well, that's not even like, to me, the whole Collision thing is not even a like, oh, look at AEW. I just see it as AEW backed themselves into a corner. They needed to create a show for Punk to keep him away from the Young Bucks and the Elite. And now that they don't have that, AEW does not need a second show. They didn't even need Rampage. Just make Dynamite good. The AEW should just run. They should run like WWE back in the day when it was just Monday Night Raw. Make that the best show it can be before you go ahead and say, oh, we need a SmackDown.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm fine with Rampage if Rampage actually turns out to be good at some point. I'm still waiting.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like it's. I mean, we can certainly talk about that a different day of like what we would do with AEW because that's a whole different conversation. But like, yeah, just that's the thing. Like, kind of where I can connect it with Punk. Of I don't think people like. There's a certain amount of like, star that is with someone before, like, there's a certain amount of shine, I should say, before I stutter my way through a whole sentence like I almost just did. Like, there's a certain amount of shine that a wrestler has. The more you see them, the more it kind of dulls, and it's like did we really miss you? And like, that's, to me, that's what started happening with Punk. Mind you, there were other events that happened that also soured people on Punk.
So I'm just going to come out and ask you, part 2. Should WWE bring back CM Punk? And before you give your answer, I do want to say there was an article today from ringsidenews.com that says CM Punk advances towards WWE about a return. During a discussion on Oh You Didn't Know, Road Dogg, who is senior vice president of WWE live events, brought up CM Punk in a conversation. This caused Road Dogg to reveal that nobody had any issue with Punk and WWE. The exact quote: "Everybody loved Punk too. I never got it. Never understood it. Cuts a decent promo. Good in today's world. Never got the rest of it. Let's lay on it. If we're getting heat, let's get it." Do you believe that? 2, that is another point in my head of like, WWE weren't going to bring in Punk. Why would they? Like, you can't tell people what to do, but I'd be like, Road Dogg, please don't do that. Please don't stoke the flame if you weren't going to bring him in. Do you believe these comments? And should WWE bring in CM Punk? Can't hear you.
Sorry, I muted myself to cough, and I completely forgot to unmute myself.
I was like, how long should I just let him go?
I noticed it because peeling back the curtain on my side, I don't look at the camera, as you can obviously very clearly tell. The camera's up here. Yeah, I look at my picture specifically. That's why, like, if you see me like adjusting my clothes,
because you're
like,
psychoanalyzing yourself.
Yeah, I basically just keep an eye on like the edge of the thing because since we're on Discord. It, like, lights up around it, so where I don't see that move, and I'm like, okay, here we go. No, I'm gonna be honest, I don't take anything Road Dogg says serious. Road Dogg, to me, is an absolute clown. I've never liked Road Dogg.
A clown.
Mostly because, I'm gonna keep it completely honest here, Road Dogg is one of those people that he's only relevant in wrestling because of who his friends are.
Oh, you didn't know? I'm Triple H's friend.
Yeah, like, literally remove the fact that he's Triple H's friend, Shawn Michaels' friend, Billy Gunn's friend, and like 2 other people. No one cares about.
Don't forget X-Pac.
Yeah, and X-Pac.
My name is X-Pac.
So, so I never care about what he says.
Do you think that there are people with heat, like CM Punk? Like, do you think Seth Rollins is probably like, no, I don't want him in the company?
I know at one point, like, almost no member of the Shield liked him. I know there's like a couple other people. I forget exactly who they are off the top of my head. But I do know, like, the Shield members were the main ones. And, because I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if there is. Because, like, I know, now mind you, people will be like, but he was saying this in character. Whether you're saying it in character or not, it's pretty damning when you have Seth Rollins say, keep that cancer away from me, when someone asked him about CM Punk.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to be honest, I really don't think WWE needs him.
They don't need him, but I think they should.
See, I'm on the other side of it. To me, and because we've talked about this in the Discord before, wrestling, now mind you, people are going to lambaste me for this one, so get ready, everyone. Grab your pants, make sure they're on. I'm about to say something that's apparently controversial to people. Wrestling is better without CM Punk. Mostly because you don't have a trauma queen crybaby that doesn't like when he's not the center of attention.
So we make him the center of attention. We don't make him champion, but the thing, and here's why I think he should be. This is why I think he should be brought back, is because right now I feel like, and we're gonna touch on this more with the question that we're gonna talk about to end the show. WWE right now with creative, in my mind, there are some things that are working well. There are other things that are not working well, like Roman Reigns. All I hear from people like Jake, or Buddy Jake, who's all like, oh, Roman Reigns is the best. Oh my God, Roman Reigns, he's so awesome. The Bloodline is the best thing of all wrestling. The Bloodline hasn't been relevant in my mind since Sami Zayn left. Since WrestleMania, it's just been like, in my mind. It's been stale. It's like, oh man, Jay and Jimmy are going to feud. Oh, we're going to hold that off to WrestleMania. Like, I feel like CM Punk could be something fresh, because I'll be honest, both major champions, their storylines are kind of stale. Like Seth's, I like a little bit more than Roman's, and that's only because Seth is doing the fighting champion thing. Like, him and Sami Zayn had a great match on Raw this past week. Still kind of boring in the scheme of things. That's mainly because of the albatross around Damian Priest's neck that they won't take off. Like, either cash in and pull the trigger or have them fail it. That case is not doing anything, because it's almost like we put it on somebody again and we don't know what to do with it, which is 99% of Money in the Bank winners at this point. That I just feel like he might be a breath of fresh air, whether it's a mini Roman feud on the way to WrestleMania, if maybe it's a big WrestleMania feud with Seth Rollins, and we don't need CM Punk to win the heavyweight title, but could you imagine how great that would be? Like, that kind of match, CM Punk, Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, the build up all the way to there, like, count me in.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I agree in that sense of, like, my thing is, to me, CM Punk is a ticking time bomb. And it's always that ticking time bomb of, like, okay, who starts the avalanche? Who rolls the snowball down the hill that's going to turn into a landslide at any second now? Like, to me, that's where, like, when it comes to, breath of fresh air stuff, booking the Judgment Day in every segment. Maybe. Maybe.
I think they're going to break up soon, but that's just me.
Way better.
By Mania, I think the Judgment Day is no longer existent.
Yeah, but, like, to me, that's my thing of where it's just like, if you want a breath of fresh air, do something that's a breath of fresh air. The problem is, like, this is my biggest criticism I have of Triple H's WWE. He's over-reliant on the same talent over and over again.
What, Gunther, Seth Rollins, Roman, Judgment Day?
Like, it's basically just like, because, at least on, like, the Raw side, like, it's the same, like, 10 people. And, like, mind you, those are the people that make money.
Do Judgment Day count as 1 or 5?
They count as, like, 5.
Okay, so
they're half of the...
You got Judgment Day, Cody, Jay, Sammy, Gunther. And
like, who? Then the insert 10th is whoever Gunther's feuding with.
So right now, The Miz.
Yeah. Or, like, to me, that's why I'm like, if you want a breath of fresh air, stop using the same 10 people. Because the thing is, both rosters have a lot of talent. Like, for instance, to me, you ready for exactly how you can spice up SmackDown?
Go ahead.
You actually try to give Austin Theory a character. It's not just, hey,
don't pair him with
Australian guy now.
Don't pair him with Grayson Waller so people can go, ooh, Grayson Waller is just better Austin Theory.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Unless your plan is to put over Grayson Waller, then good job.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're doing a very good job at that. No, like, that's what I mean of, like, if you want something fresh and new, actually use the people on your roster that aren't doing anything. You have so many people already. To me, bringing CM Punk in, what? Because I need feud with, like, 5 people.
Well,
probably get into trouble with someone.
I'll say this. We'll push it right into... We'll meld the third one in. My third part of this was, if CM Punk is in the company, who are you... If you're Triple H, who's his first feud with? What's your plan for Punk? Like, if he comes into WWE, how should WWE use him?
I'm going to be completely honest. Now, mind you, I'm entirely coming from a hater perspective with this.
Mm-hmm.
With Punk being older, past his prime, you know, who knows how many more years of wrestling he has.
Mm-hmm.
I would honestly use him as a way to build up some of your young talent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have him feud with the younger guys. Like, for instance, I think a feud with him and Austin Theory would be really good. I do. I also just keep wanting Austin Theory to do literally anything that's not just be the backup to an Australian guy.
You know what? I had a similar idea. This is kind of like very low because I don't think they would do this. You know who I would love for him to work with? And yet again, it's are we going to see CM Punk that's all about himself, or will we see the CM Punk that he said he was going to be in AEW, where he said he was like, there's 1,000 wrestlers back there and they're good guys and I'm going to build them up and we're going to make each other better. I almost look at it and I go, man, if he wants to take on a role model and like, hey, let me build someone up. Lexus King, dude needs help, man. Dude needs
Keep him away from
help.
that charisma vacuum.
Dude, but if CM Punk can maybe teach him and give him a little bit of charisma, like...
Oh. Keep CM Punk away from that absolute vacuum of charisma.
I mean, he's got to get better, right?
No, he stinks. That man has negative aura.
Is it him or the character?
Both.
Both.
Dude, when he was sitting on the throne in that interview, I'm like, I have never cringed harder in my life.
Come on, eat a little candy. You know you want one.
Come on, I got some candy. Come on. It's just like,
it's not creepy at all.
Yeah, it's like, dude, how do you have zero aura? Like, it's like you work in a company with some of the greatest talkers in wrestling history. Oh, have you not at one point paid attention in promo class? Like, how was your best thing? I got some candy. It's like this is whoever writes his promos is that same one who wrote the Roman Suffering Succotash promo.
Here's the other thing I think about, and this goes into like, who do you have him feud with? If he's gonna return, it's gonna be at Survivor Series. WWE's they're in a weird position because December is kind of turned into the off month. No pay-per-view. I think Deadline's the only thing, and that's NXT. No WWE pay-per-view. We basically got a 2-month build. Like, December, take it kind of light. Boom. January, by the time we get to Rumble, boom, we're off to WrestleMania. What are you going to build between Survivor Series and the Rumble? Like, does he do something that is just a 2-month program before a Mania? Is it just a, hey, get him out there, and then for 2 months he kind of sits around, and then boom, he's in a Mania push with somebody? Because I agree with you. Build up, put someone over. Even though the dude's as over as the moon right now, I would love to see a feud between him and LA Knight. Those promo battles would be chef's kiss. Like, they would go at it. However, I don't think LA Knight needs him to get put over because he's already over. Yeah. And I think that would take away, because I think it should be either Cody or LA Knight winning the Rumble.
Yeah. Like, I think that's why every single time when it comes to basically anything when people talk about bringing Punk in, my little first thought is always like, hey, so you guys remember how you have a lot of young talent on the roster? Like, we don't have to just shuffle these people into the same 10 people again. Because, I'm going to be completely honest now, mind you, I don't know if I'm in a minority with it or not. I really don't like the new Hurt Business.
You don't like?
And I don't think they're.
You don't like the Super Profits? I don't think they're actually.
Oh, not really. Okay. I'm going to be completely honest. I do not like Montez as a heel.
Okay.
And it's mostly just because it feels so forced. Like, put it in comparison, it feels the same way that Austin Theory's newest heel character felt.
Yeah.
Of where it's the, like, that's not you. I can tell this is not natural for you.
There's only one reason why I agree with you, but I don't hate it. And because what I think this is building up is, so he's been a baby face with Angelo for so long. I think post Suit Profits, we're going to get the Montez Ford singles push. It's not the right time now. You got LA Knight. You got Cody's got to finish his story. It wouldn't be the right time, but it gets people thinking about you in a different way, to where when they do springboard the singles push where he's a baby face, it's the character build of like, yeah, I lost my way for a little bit. I let Bobby cloud my mind. Maybe that's the thing that pushes him and Angelo to the singles, is Montez steps up to Bobby, and we get a Bobby Montez feud that pushes him off into a singles babyface feud. I'm talking about like maybe even post Mania.
Yeah. I mean, like, for instance, you could use someone like Punk to start pushing that story forward. You can use guys like him who have all this charisma, who are known names, give rubs to the people that you want to be the future of the business. For instance, like, I'm going to be honest, he's not going to NXT. Let's be completely honest here. Punk, if they sent Punk to NXT, that is the ultimate middle finger to literally AEW. That's like beat us in ratings again, idiot. See what happens.
You know what it'll probably be? It'll probably be, and I don't know if I would hate this. I would hate it because it's another like, hey, let's feed him to the big dog. But I kind of almost look at it because of the history with him and Paul Heyman. Could we see it where LA Knight or Cody wins the Rumble? That's going to be Roman's opponent at Mania. But we need an Elimination Chamber match for him, much like we had Sammy last year. CM Punk is that match for Roman this year. Like, oh, he's got a match at the Rumble, or he's got a match at Elimination Chamber, and it's just Punk versus Roman is his first thing.
I hope not. My thing is just, I think that's a misuse of what Punk is.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, where Punk's at in his career, it's the same sort of thing when they did it with John Cena. When they kind of just fed with John Cena. And they just fed him to Roman. I was just like, why? Like, Cena's at the point of his career, like, he shouldn't be feeding to the guy that you already are like, yeah, he's our guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, you could have Cena feud with so many other people and not just absolutely bury Austin Theory and then, just leave him out to dry from that point going forward.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. It's just, to me, I don't really think they need him. I think it's just, it spice up the product yourself by using the talent you already have.
I will say this. I agree they don't need him. But if they do bring him in, I hope it's a short run, not a long run. I hope it's like a almost like a half John Cena run. Comes in, maybe for Mania cycle. Okay, you're doing something else. You're not here forever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and even if you bring him in just to mostly do stuff like backstage, that's also a good thing.
Yeah.
Also, because WWE's system is like, no, you are going to listen to people. If you don't, we'll bring the Undertaker in to beat you up. Like,
we'll bring him to NXT. He'll show up. Vince is just one call away.
Undertaker will beat you up. He will find a way. You may be like 25 into the prime of your life, beat you up.
Dad, what was it like getting beat up by the Undertaker?
Yeah, like, I think use Punk's star power, build up that next generation of people afterwards. Because, like, we already kind of see, like, okay, like, who they've dubbed as, like, the next guys up. Like, lead the company going forward. Because obviously we know Roman wants to start being a part-timer. He's already there.
Yeah.
But, like, we know that's what he wants to do. We don't know how much longer Rollins is going to be at the level he's at. LA Knight's already in his 40s, so it's a limited time window with him.
2 questions for you before, like, we go into the Discord question. 1, if you were Triple H, when and how would you have Damian cash in?
Would
it be a fail or a success?
I'd have it be a success. I'd have him do it at Rumble.
At the Rumble, okay. I was thinking it should have happened at Crown Jewel.
I mean, should have, but we know WWE. They like to just tease the, like, he has the briefcase. When's it gonna come out?
And usually the thing that upsets me about the Damian thing is usually people who get their own briefcases, it's special. Like, I think of Edge with his black briefcase. Like, usually people who get their own briefcase, it's like, oh, this is special. Like the Otis thing, it was a lunchbox. We all knew. We all knew. I want, like, God, Otis shouldn't have been. Otis shouldn't have ended out like it did, Soapy. Yeah. I'm still upset about that. They should have just had it, oh, he's a team guy. Him and Tucky are together. We're using it to cash in on the tag titles.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't have too much to say about it. It's still my favorite briefcase of all time is Boombox Brock.
Boombox Brock. The second question I had is, if you're Triple H, who's Randy's first feud? Boom, comes back at Survivor Series. Who's his first feud? If he's coming back, I think as a heel.
I don't even know. I think it's going to depend on what brand he re-debuts for.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think he's on like a specific roster. Right
I'll ask it to you. Which brand would be ideal for him? Is it just Raw by default because lulls Roman?
I mean, yeah, probably, to be completely honest. Well, no, but like, I think SmackDown could get a good one because once again, I'm going to say it ad nauseum. Have literally anyone feud with Austin Theory, please, for the love of God. Like, I'm begging. I'm on my hands and knees begging in front of Triple H's house. Like, please give this man the selfie gimmick back.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I'd ever hope for a selfie gimmick to return in wrestling, but I mean, all I'm saying, notice that was the best heel character he's had was taking selfies.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying. No, like, I think as well, I think Randy actually going to SmackDown would be a good idea because then one, you can split up Theory and Waller. Like, I love the pairing. Mind you, I always make the joke that Theory plays the background character to the Australian guy.
Yeah. Grayson Waller.
But like,
you're not even going to say his name.
I say Australian name guy as a joke. I love Grayson Waller.
Uh-huh. That's why I'm like, acknowledge him.
Like, no. For instance, I think you could use Randy as a way to push Austin Theory to being a face. I think that's how you do it. Like, you use, because that's the thing. Let's be real here. We're putting it out here now. Randy sucks as a good guy, except with Matt Riddle.
And Matt Riddle's
outside
gone.
of Matt Riddle, and Matt Riddle's not there anymore. Randy's not walking next to a camel anymore, alright? Randy's gonna go back to kicking people because I don't know if he can still do RKOs with his neck.
Punting? He's gonna punt people?
Yeah, he's gonna punt people again. You know, obligatory wrestling Twitter mention 2009 Randy was a different breed. But I mean, no, that's the thing. I think it's just
Theory's interesting.
Yeah, like, and that's my entire point of just like, to me, it's like Theory is one of those guys that they built up for so long and very obviously you can tell it was a Vince guy.
Mm-hmm.
But like, to be honest, Theory's better than most of the young talent of the company.
Yeah.
And we actually, try to build him up.
I mean, I'll be honest.
If he fails again,
I loved Austin Theory before The Way. The Way kind of killed him.
Yeah, to be completely honest, it's like, to me, I liked him pre-Way.
Mm-hmm.
I like the selfie gimmick. I know I am probably in a minority when I say that I like the selfie gimmick.
It was fun. It was different. It was like Logan Paul was the only other one doing a selfie thing.
Well, even at that, it was, I think when Logan Paul was coming in, I think that's when Theory was like at the end of the selfie gimmick. Because they basically gave the selfie gimmick to Logan Paul. Like, to me, one, it's also, I just loved the memes that came out of it, of everyone photoshopping Theory's face from every one of those. But like, no, to me, it's like, the reason I think that turning him face is a good idea is because when you hear about people talk about him outside of wrestling, and you hear like, oh, he's such a good dude. It's like, dude, like, mind you, I know everyone was like, he's the next John Cena, because they're like, he's buff and has short hair like John Cena. Well, like, that's the thing of like, you need someone who can be that kind of brand ambassador of like hey, I'm the good guy. Like, is it just going to be
Cody? Is it just going to be Cody? Adversity? The adversity?
Yeah. It's Cody who's going to... I'm not going to make that joke in the podcast. I'll get in trouble.
One that everyone's talking about, and this was because of a promo, I want to say it was either this week or 2 weeks ago, from we're recording this on the 9th on Raw. Shinsuke did Shin did
Yeah. Come on, let's
a
get it right.
promo where everyone was like, oh, this has got to be like, where he was basically like, I will wait and see, like, come and get me kind of a thing. And everyone's like, oh, that's Randy. Randy's coming. And I'm like, but I don't want Randy to come back as a face. I want him to come back as a heel.
Yeah, mostly because I don't want to hear good guy Randy try to talk down to bad guy Shinsuke. It's like, you guys go back to how we used to be.
And I have a feeling, and this is the only bad part about WWE creative right now, is in my head, I'm like, oh, he could go after Rollins. He's not going to beat Rollins. Oh, he can go after Gunther. He's not going to beat Gunther. Like, they're right now.
I don't think they'd want him near Gunther with how hard Gunther hits. He's probably going to actually want to die if he has
right
messed up
now,
neck.
Roman, Seth, Gunther, they're not losing their title. Like, they're not going to lose their titles until Mania. And like, there's a part of me that feels like that's a good thing because there's a shock value there. WWE at some point could pull the trigger on one of them. Probably either Seth or Gunther. But at the same time, it's a bad thing because it's like, oh, lol. Like, oh, what? Like, oh, this match is good, but like, I know the outcome. Like, I know wrestling is scripted.
Which way is Seth Rollins going to Hulk up?
The Roman ones are really the worst because it's just 5 moves. It's just and it's always the same thing. Superman punch, spear. Oh, that didn't work. Another spear. Oh, we kicked out. Here's Jimmy. Bloodline interference for the win.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. Leads us into the last question, though. Roman is the segue in. So we had a Discord question. Don't know why I closed my tablet when I knew I was going to have to read this question. So this was actually today. He posted this as we're recording this on Thursday night, 6 a.m. Central Time. Retro goes, here's a question, lol. Would you rather be the WWE champion for 1,000 days plus or be a 16-time WWE champion? Or what do you think is worth more? Soapy, I'll let you answer first. What is worth more? A long title reign in wrestling? 1,000 plus days? Or, woo, 16-time champ?
I think 16-time champ matters a lot more. And now, mind you, I know basically, I have a feeling Retro is trying to stoke the flames of having us argue of if Roman's title reign is more important than everyone else's. No. I know your games, Retro. I can see right through them. I see through the Australian ruse that you tried to pull over us.
You like how I bit right away? I took the bait.
You're not pulling me down on the... I understand your games, silly sounding man. But no, I think 16 time is a lot more important just because the fact of, one, to me, now this is, I will always lean on the side of like, I don't mind long title reigns, but I don't want them to be stupidly long. It's like, to me, I look at it this way. It's like, let's use, you know what, I actually got to pull this up for a second. I'm going to pull up the list of people who beat John Cena for titles. I think, John Cena's a 15, 16 time, somewhere in there. Like, I'm going to look up to see who became, like, stars after they beat Cena. Now, all I'm saying, I get to hate on Roman in the segment, because basically Roman's the 1,000 plus day guy.
He is.
On Cena.
Like,
that's not what I wanted.
Well, you're pulling that up. The thing that I think about is, think of the guys who have held it the longest. Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, Bob Backlund, John Cena. John Cena has 13 reigns, by the way, as WWE champion. Pedro Morales, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, and then we're at 680 with Randy. It's just like, I look at it, and most of those guys, it was a very different time. Like, maybe if we were in the, like, 70 plus, it would be like, oh, okay, maybe it's different. I think social media and, like, how now we are is a thing. But, like, the way I look at it is, if I was a kid, and this is why in the Discord I said as an adult, as a kid, maybe I would have leaned towards the 1,000 days, because to me, when I was a kid, I didn't know wrestling was scripted. It was real to me. But as an adult, knowing that wrestling is scripted, that's not impressive. That's just, oh, the higher ups in creative like you as champion. But if you're a 16-time champ, that's more really impressive. Of like, champion. Oh, they don't just trust you with holding the belt. They trust you with putting over other guys in defeat. They really trust you that they're taking it off of you and then putting it back on you. I would want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that they keep giving the belt to even when they take it off me, than the guy that's like, well, we don't really have anyone that we want to put it on, so we're just going to have you hold it for 1,000 days. Lol, Roman.
Yeah. Well, because, like, for instance, okay, so I pulled up the list, and the reason I did this was basically...
These are the guys that Cena's put over?
Yeah. Or at least these are the guys that Cena has had matches that they've taken the belt off of. Mind you, this list also put, like, the U.S. title in here. Oh, mind you, there's only really one U.S. title in here that super matters.
Yeah.
Which is the very first one, you know, with Carlito. Because he kind of made Carlito a big deal by having him win. Basically, like, for instance, John Cena helped solidify Edge as a main eventer when Edge beat him. Mind you, the next title reign, there's a little bit of a problem with it. Not for the wrestler's fault, but because the people he was in the car with, being an idiot, you know, with Rob Van Dam.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sabu.
VD.
Yeah, like, for instance, he helped Edge, RVD. You know, I'm going to be completely honest. And now, mind you, I may be in the minority when I say this. I don't think anyone would have looked at Randy nearly as specially as they did if it wasn't for John Cena. Mind you, I will also say, those two never had a good match.
Yeah.
It is the funniest thing ever that WWE is like, this is our Rock Austin. This is the modern day Rock Austin. They never had a single good match. I don't remember a single one of their matches.
Yeah.
I remember more of them in, like, WWE games against each other. Like the clip of Randy Orton RKOing John Cena, and he's like, he attacked me. Look at him.
Menacingly.
Like, yeah. Like, for instance, the multiple times that he put Edge over, he solidified Randy. He had Sheamus. He helped put Sheamus over. The multiple times him and Batista fought. Now, mind you, Batista was well over by this point. I'm not giving him credit for Batista. Well, like, that's the thing. It's also, you know, a guy we talked about earlier in the show. Did he not help solidify CM Punk?
Yeah. So I'm going to cut in here. One of the greatest, to me, moments of a wrestler that lost is how CM Punk beat John Cena at Money in the Bank 2010. Because for some of you who don't remember, it's one of my favorite finishes. Because not only did John Cena lose, Vince and Laurinaitis came out. And Laurinaitis was running down because Vince said, go, like, ring the bell. And John slides out of the ring, hits Laurinaitis with a stiff arm, and just, you see him say, no, I'm not gonna win that way. And then he slides in, boom, gets hit over the shoulder, go to sleep, 1, 2, 3, the big pop. Then we get Del Rio out here right now. Get Del Rio out here right now. Then we get that, and the rest is history.
Yeah. But, like, for instance, you have CM Punk. You have it when he lost the WWE Championship to Daniel Bryan. You have it when he lost the World Heavyweight Championship to Lesnar. You have it when he lost the U.S. Championship to Rollins. Like, to me, this is the thing. There's multiple people that John Cena helped build up during these multiple title switches. To me, I'm going to be completely honest. And now, mind you, I'm going to have someone who come out the woodwork and be like, actually, Roman Reigns helped this guy.
So, I'm actually here for devil's advocate. Because I don't believe, like, I get their point, Soapy, but I'm on your side in this. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. The actually is Roman right now, and I saw this in a YouTube video I was watching. They were like, oh, well, the best thing about dominant heels is what baby faces do they build in their wake. And the ones that people were talking about, that Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, main event Jey Uso, and those were kind of the big three. And I look at it, and this is where I get to pop the hole into the bubble of, out of those three specifically, the only one I give credit to Roman to is main event Jey Uso. That's it. Because LA Knight was already, like, the fans were already over on LA Knight before he even had a promo with Roman. Cody Rhodes, like, do we not remember how big that pop was when he came out at WrestleMania to face Seth Rollins? How excited people, like think of Cody Rhodes when he left WWE to when he came back. If you would have just told someone, yeah, this is the pop when he left, and then years later said, hey, this is the pop when he returned, and not told them what he did in between, they'd be like, wait, what American hero is this? Because of the pop
they'd
he
be
got.
like, God, it's Homelander.
It's Homelander. He is dressed like Homelander. But like those two, Roman didn't help build. Main event Jey Uso, I think, is the only legitimate babyface that Roman built. And I'll say, I don't think it has much to do with Roman. I think it has a lot to do that Jey Uso is a good babyface and is somebody who can stand out on his own. Because I'll be completely honest, I love the Usos. Main event Jey, better single star than Jimmy Uso. There's a reason why there's main event Jey and not main event Jimmy.
Well, solo star.
Oh yeah, that's right. Jimmy's
like
now with solo
pushes, and they both, yeah, it's solo pushes. But then, literally, like not even a week later, Jay's back in a tag team again.
Yeah, he's with Solo Sequoia.
Yeah, Jimmy's with Solo, and Jay got put with Cody. But no, like that's my thing of like. That's why I'm like, to me, there's more people John Cena built up. Now, mind you, obviously, that's over a way longer time period.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm going to point this out. Almost every person that Roman has faced, they're big for like a week or two afterwards, and then they just falter out. They peter out, and fans just stop caring.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, like, with KO.
Daniel Bryan.
KO kind of...
Braun Strowman.
Yeah, like, all of these people who feud with Roman, they just fizzle out.
Mm-hmm.
And now people could be like, oh, well, that's on them, blah, 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 which fair. Part of it falls on them.
No, it's never Roman's fault. Give Roman all the praise, none of the criticism.
Yeah, don't criticize him. You're not allowed to criticize him, or iBeast on Twitter is going to write like a 4-paragraph tweet about how Roman is the greatest thing
tribal stan? Is iBeast the tribal stan?
Yes.
Acknowledge him.
It is really funny. Everyone always makes jokes that anytime you criticize Roman, they're going to write like 4 paragraphs about how Roman's the greatest thing to ever walk the earth. But no, like, it's me, like, when people bring up, like, that he helped with Cody.
Mm-hmm.
He re-debuted in WWE as the highest merch seller.
Yeah.
That's not helping him.
Yeah.
It wasn't like oh my god, post-Roman, he's so much bigger.
By helping him, you should have put him over by losing the belt. That would have been that would have been putting him over. Roman is a guy to me, and yet again, Trips right now has all the power to take the belt off them. If Roman has Hulk Hogan level of creative, WWE is stupid. I want to say a different word, but I'm not. Because he should have zero authority to say no. I don't want to give the belt. It should be this is best for us. You're giving up the belt. Cena did that numerous times. Plus, the one thing that I was going to say when I said the like WWE being scripted, that plays into it. Like I said, if it's the UFC, then yeah, 3,000 days, 1,000 days is like, whoa, if you're holding a belt for 3 years, I mean, now the difference is with UFC, you're not having like a pay-per-view match every month because, you get punched in the face and you got to take some time off. But even if you have like, let's say 4 fights a year, that's what, 12 fights? You've had 12 title defenses? That's a lot of title defenses to say, I'm still champ.
Yeah, because, like, for instance, like, and now, mind you, obviously, some of these are a little goofy, but, like, because I pulled up, like, the list of UFC ones. Mind you, that's why my face lights up when I tab off of Discord.
John Jones has 13. He's got the most. So he would be where Roman is.
Yeah. It's like, for instance, like, because it also is, like, with Anderson Silva, they're, like, length of title reign, 2,457 days.
Yeah.
Then also you look at the defenses, and it's, like, 10.
Yeah.
And it's like, man... It's like, that's
well, but yet again, it's different because they're actually getting punched in the face. But like,
yeah, like you're actually beating the crap out of each other.
My point is that it's not scripted. That he walked in, like John Jones walked into those 13 title defenses, and it was not predetermined that he was going to win that match. That I think says something to where it's like, okay, length of reign means something. If WWE was like that, and I know that I'm not calling for WWE to ever be like that because that's how people get hurt, because then nobody's going to want to lose, because let's be honest, nobody likes to lose. That's why to me it's the reigns are more, because that shows me the company actually cares about me to not just take the belt off of me, but they have the faith to put it back on me, because when they do take it off of me, either somebody's going to get built up or it's going to be a great moment.
Yeah, and especially because title changes are great for business, because what that allows then is you can that allows people to take time off. Because in, like, for instance, like, that's one of the problems that mainly
take time off, like, while still having the title on TV.
Yeah, like, because for instance, that's the main problem when Brock was champion. That's the main problem with Roman as champion. This is the thing. I honestly would have no problem with Roman if he wasn't champ when he goes off TV.
Yeah.
And it's mostly just because the fact of, like, I want to see the championship on TV. I want to see the belt. I want to see the champion.
Like, and you say...
I know people...
I'm going to cut you off. You do say that you are annoyed by the Judgment Day. At least I get to see that women's championship on TV.
Yeah, I may get to see it defended, like, 3 times a year, but...
No. Dude, we're going to see Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark is going to beat Rhea Ripley for the title in Survivor Series. Soapy's going to be crying from the upper deck.
I will.
It's Mommy, okay, Mommy. I'll console you.
Yeah, that'll be me. Up on the hard cam side where she won't be looking.
Ricky's gonna be sitting there going, "What you see is what you get. Let's go." But go ahead, I cut you off.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. To me is, like, I understand, like, this is the thing. They view Roman as their guy. I understand. I fully understand. I may not agree with it, but I understand.
I understand.
Yeah. Well, like, to me, I asked this question. Why do we need to break Hulk Hogan's record? Like, if people are going to use the logic of, like,
because he's a bad guy and we
Hogan's
can't remember that he existed.
See, then you want to know what the real problem becomes then?
Why have history books at all?
Is every person after Roman going to break that record again?
No. I hope not. Like,
exactly.
Jake always gets mad when I bring this up. I wish I had a button that I could push right now. Fast forward me to the end of the reign. Like, hit the button right now. Boom. It's at the point where 1, 2, 3 has happened. I think WWE is going to be so much better than it is now once Roman is not champion.
Yeah, because, like, if he's just a part-timer, I'm fine with it.
And I hope it's at WrestleMania. If he wins at WrestleMania, Soapy, I may have to become an AEW stan.
I mean, hey, welcome to the other side. Not the Judgment Day's other side, the other side of wrestling.
But here's another thing I want to throw out here, and you watch AEW more than me. The one thing I've seen, though, is people are like, oh, people are so mad at Roman, but isn't MJF just AEW Roman with how long he's held the belt? Or, like, his reign also being a very long reign?
I mean, it's also the fact that MJF's been involved in interesting stuff the entire time. And he's on TV all the time and
doesn't take a break.
Yeah. And even when he does take a break, it's for, like, a week.
Yeah, he is truly, like...
He's at least on one of the 3 shows.
And he is truly a face of the company. Roman is like a fake face of the company. He's the corporate champion.
Like Roman is the
corporate chief.
The thing. Like he's acknowledge my shares.
The corporate chief.
This is my conference table of relevancy. No, like, if anyone tries to compare the two, the point is, one, MJF has been involved in storylines the entire time. If he's had to take extended times away, they at least have him come in and do a promo. Like, and it's also the fact of whenever MJF has been in a storyline, they're not just making it to where, like, oh, we ignore that MJF cheats. We ignore all of this stuff. It's like, for instance, the Summer of Bromance was really popular.
The Adam Cole stuff was awesome.
Yeah, because the fact of, like, it literally was just the, like, you almost forgot for a second that MJF was champion. And not in a bad way. Of where it's like the, you know, like, oh, like, the title was important to the story because obviously, you know, like two guys that just fought each other a week ago for the belt are, like, tag team champions now. Like, to me, I don't see, like, if people try to make the comparison, it's like, well, one, MJF knows more than 5 moves. MJF also doesn't have to cheat to win every match, and when he does, he's been doing it for, like, 5 years now.
Yeah. Oh, he's got the diamond ring! He's got the diamond ring!
Yeah. There's a reason why everyone makes the joke that they do the tournament just so MJF can keep the ring.
I think even if he did lose, he wouldn't give up the ring.
Yeah, he'd still just keep the ring.
He takes a little paintbrush, paints a black X over it. I'm the real diamond ring.
Yeah. I'm the real Triple B. Yeah, like, that's the thing. It's, me, I don't mind long title reigns, because that's the thing. Like, I give, you know, like, for instance, I think Gunther's the best champion in WWE right now.
Because his matches are actually good?
Like, yeah. Well, because, like, it doesn't feel stale. It doesn't feel like it's a Gunther match. I'm like well, I get to watch Gunther actually beat the crap out of someone.
One of the things I will say, speaking of Gunther, I didn't say this earlier in the CM Punk stuff, and I wanted to say it. This past Monday on Raw, if you guys hadn't watched it, find Raw, whether it's on Peacock, whether it's on Hulu. I don't remember where it is right now. I think it might be on Peacock, but go watch the match between DIY and the Creed brothers. First off, 2 great tag teams. Love DIY. Obviously love DIY. Love the Creed brothers. The way that match went were specifically how it ended, where they put the Creed brothers over by having them win, but it's how they won, where Ludwig Kaiser came out, hit Johnny with a kick over the top rope, laying him out so that Julius could cover him. And then on top of it, they didn't just say, okay, that's it. That's how we're going to put them over. They then had later on the women's battle royale for who was going to challenge Rhea Ripley. Zoe Stark won. But the thing that stuck out to me is they didn't stop there. They said, you know what? We're going to put, what's her name? Ivy Nile over. We're going to have her be one of the ones to, first, I think she had the most eliminations in the match. She eliminated Nia Jax. She was part of the, yes, she got eliminated right after, but she was a part of the final 4. Like, that to me spoke something of they're trying to put over the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile. And it was something nice to see of that is good storytelling. You're not killing DIY by putting the Creed brothers over. You're not killing a battle royale by, oh man, we got to force Nile into being over. You could have Zoe win, but still put Ivy over.
Yeah. And that's the thing of where just, to me, 1,000-day reigns tend to be, you kill some people's momentum. And mind you, and even shorter reigns do that too. It's I know Sheamus was really vocal about not being super happy about the stuff with Gunther. Of where he's they did literally nothing with my momentum after Gunther.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, mind you, it's also Sheamus. You are in your 40s.
Let's be completely honest. I think also part of it too is who's Trips' guys. Like, that's a good thing and a bad thing, because like you look at it on Raw, Bronson Reed getting some big pushes, DIY getting some big pushes, the Creed brothers getting a big push. Like, if Triple H likes you, you're gonna get some rub on TV.
Yeah, and I mean, and I have no problem with, you know, people getting pushes and stuff like that, because it happens. You know, every company has their personal favorite guys. But, like, it's just, to me, I look at it of like the fact that Roman is like WWE's guy, and that like his push has kind of just stopped everyone else's momentum. That's where I'm like, I don't like the 1,000-day reign, because like, for instance, even if, let me be completely honest, even if, like, let's say like LA Knight won at Saudi or whatever, and like 3 weeks later he drops the belt, that's fine. Like, I don't think anyone would have a major problem with it. And mind you, there'd be people who have a problem, but because everyone has a problem with everything.
Controversial opinion.
I mean, that's ironic coming from me, but
I'm gonna say maybe we say maybe this is the part wherever we say something like this is like hashtag heel talk, because it's controversial. Hashtag heel talk. None of the storylines around main roster championships are any good.
Well,
Romans,
aside from Gunther.
I'm just gonna say Romans, not good. Seth, not terrible, stale. Gunther, probably the best. The U.S. title, probably the second best. But like, I think of the women, Rhea Ripley's, lull Judgment Day. Like, it's kind of maybe fallen into the stale category.
I was gonna say, Rhea feuds with dudes more than she feuds with the women's division.
The Io Sky, I feel like Io's falling into a category of like damage controls the albatross around her neck, to where we can't even get the women's title stories out there because of damage control holding Io back. Now, that might all change with the Kairi Sane thing coming in. I'm hoping that means Io can break away from damage control and we can finally see the women's champion all on her own, because it's kind of weird. It's weird seeing the main title on a number 2 or a number 3 of a faction. Like, it being on Io, I love Io. I'm glad she's champion, but it's weird seeing it on her and not Bayley, because Bayley's the head of damage control. It's like when Randy or Batista had the championship and not Triple H for Evolution.
Well, it's also, I was gonna be a real shithead and do the like, well, yeah, it's just Io's gonna move from one group to another. This is WWE's thing.
The Kabuki Warriors.
We're assembling the Infinity Stones of Asian women's wrestlers.
Aren't they bringing? I don't know the name because I'm not a huge Japanese wrestling guy.
Saray
Isn't there? No. She's already off the table. She is signed with a different company. There's a different wrestler from Japan that I feel like that I heard that they were. Oh, the name started with a G or something.
Oh, I know who it is. I know who you're talking about. I don't know how to say her name, though.
Because at first I thought it was a Hispanic wrestler. And then I'm like, oh, no, this is it's going to kill me. But, like, they've brought in Kairi Sane. You have Asuka.
I don't know how to pronounce her name. I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah, it's something with a G. Someone in the...
It's like G-I... It's like Giulia.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Galia or something like that?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yes. Galia Stardom. That came up. Yeah. Giulia. Yeah, that's who it is. That's almost a done deal, bringing her into WWE, is what the rumors are.
I mean, hey, yeah, like I said, we're going to assemble the Infinity Stones of Asian women's wrestlers. We're going to put them all in a group, because WWE's not very subtle about putting certain groups of people together.
Then WWE is going to sign Will Ospreay and make him the face of NXT Europe.
Yep. I mean, hey, that'd actually be kind of dope. I'm not going to lie. But
I love how everyone's like, why would you do that? Why would you make him Walter 2.0? It's like, Hey guys,
because he gets to be Walter 2.0.
Because guess what? I don't think Will wants to wrestle in the Americas main time. He wants to stay over in the UK.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, he's talked about that he's willing to move. He'd prefer not to.
Yeah.
And that's why he's leaning more towards AEW, because they're like, dude, you can live wherever. We don't care.
Yeah, but if
It's like,
WWE is going to come in and say, hey, you're the face of NXT Europe, that's a power card of like, hey, I don't have to move.
Yeah. It's like, hey, you remember this thing we put on the back burner like 4 years ago? We're taking it off the back burner, baby.
And then they're bringing in all these Asian wrestlers so they can do NXT Asia.
Yeah, well, because they're going to do the AWO, the Asian World Order.
The Asian World Order? Gee, the AWO. We got the LWO, the AWO, the Good Brothers.
Yeah. We're going to just get every single person ever. Because WWE loves putting, they're like, all right, look, what do all these people have in common? They're like, they're good wrestlers. Like, no, physical appearance. We don't care about in-ring.
Physical appearance. Except for Alpha
That's
Academy.
Why I love that.
Alpha Academy is the most diverse group in WWE.
Alpha Academy and Judgment Day are like the two most diverse.
Olympian wrestler, bodybuilder, model, Asian guy. Asian wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, like, Yeah, so I mean, look at that. They really are diverse. I mean, but hey, you know, it's just every time we have to hurt. I also love. I really don't have anything else to add to the conversation.
Yeah,
but
go
this
ahead.
is just the funny thing about the conversation we're having. I love that it was someone was like, this is the ultimate group I'd assemble for MVP, and it was just, you know, a bunch of black wrestlers from across wrestling. And MVP's like, you know, you don't have to just put every black wrestler in a group together, right?
But then the Hurt Business is just 1.0 and 2.0.
Like, that's the thing. It's so funny to me that's always just the go-to in wrestling. Is just like, all right, look. What do these guys have in common?
Wrestling has a problem, but I'm not going to be the one to say it.
Yeah,
it's all fake anyways, right?
Yeah, it's scripted.
It's all scripted. That's totally what it is. It's not like we're going to take Judgment Day and take out Edge and just put Finn in when it was supposed to be a year-long burn.
I mean, to be fair, it kind of needed that, and it needed to go. That was
stinky. I have no, like, thinking back to that time, I don't even remember it. I'll be completely honest. I remember that Finn got his head busted open. That's what I remember. Right? That was that a table shot that he took? That busted the head open? The ladder.
I think it was he got ran into the ladder.
That was it. But yeah, no. Final thoughts on so you're going 16-time world champion.
16.
I'd be the same thing. This is where you guys come in. Let us know down below. This went a little bit longer than I thought it was. I was like, oh, this is going to be like a 40-minute podcast. Ended up being like almost an hour 20. But let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section about anything that we talked today. Remember, if you want to join the Discord, those links are down below in the description. Also, our Patreon is there. If you want to support the channel, get these podcasts a couple days early before everyone else. They come out Thursday, Friday, ahead of the Sunday release for our shows on Everyone to YouTube. You can go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let us know, again, what you think about anything we talked about down below in that comment section. I want to thank you guys for everything you do. Soapy and I didn't say this at the beginning. I'll probably say it the next time we record will be after this. So Soapy and I are going to Survivor Series. It's going to be fun.
Yep.
We're going to be there. Or we're going to be there, and I'm telling you this, I'm not promising anything, but Soapy and I are really going to try the next episode in person. We just got to find the place to do it. I'm going to hammer that down. I want to do an in-person podcast for our next one, because that would be right around that time. Not promising anything in case
you guys get to see that I'm built like a beanbag chair in person.
Like a beanbag.
Be sitting in a chair, like my feet will be dangling off the ground.
But that's going to do it for Heel Talk. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.